and after that you go for your adapt exam. So in adapt exam, the most important thing is
What's up? Welcome back to India's #1 pilot podcast. And I and Chintan are back again here. Chintan, Winged Engineer. Thank you for watching, viewing, subscribing. Today we are on episode 77, if I'm not wrong.
yes,
Does
that's
that-
correct.
Yeah. So thank you for all your support. And we matter of the fact, as many of the episodes lately, we do not know what we are gonna discuss, but let's see. We'll end up discussing something that might help you.
Yes. Basically, what we have seen is over the past couple of years, when an aspiring pilot decides that they want to become a pilot, so first question they have in their mind is whether to go for the Cadet Pilot Program or the conventional pilot program. But let's say 10 years, 15 years before this, everyone would go for conventional. So this question wouldn't arise.
All right.
And speaking about the last 10 years, the Cadet Pilot Program was something which was hidden and not many people knew about it, nor anyone would be confident to go for it because it is expensive than the conventional pilot program.
Right.
So now as people are aware about the Cadet Pilot Program,
Mm-hmm.
there is a confusion whether one should go for the Cadet Pilot Program or the conventional pilot program.
Correct.
And that's what we'll be discussing. So if you're someone who is just starting their journey and would like to decide or choose between the Cadet Pilot Program or conventional, we'll discuss everything in detail.
Absolutely. Makes sense. I don't know how we are going to discuss 1 hour for the cadet and conventional. Okay, we'll discuss processes, and I think.
Yes, there's a lot to discuss. It's not just about selecting a program, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of pros and cons for both the programs.
Right.
And once you select a program, there's different steps associated with both of those.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Last week has been a lot of flying, like all-nighters for both of us, matter of the fact. Last night I could catch up on some sleep, so at least. So, dark circles is an understatement. I think it's time that we go and get black holes underneath our eyes. Yeah, true. Cool. Cadet versus conventional.
Yeah. Starting with, let's say, if you were to start your pilot training and you are given an option whether to go for cadet or conventional, which program would you go for?
Yeah, you can laugh on the pause as much as you would like. But okay, so the first two ingredients that are must-haves in order to become a pilot, be it cadet or a conventional, that would be medically fit and money. 2 M's.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 M's of pilot career. Rest of it, there is whole information on this podcast. There are people making videos about how to become a pilot. Everything is there. There is no doubt. But these 2 M's, okay, money and medicals.
Yeah. The most important.
Yeah, these 2 M's are the must-haves. Now, medical doesn't matter. There is not like how much you have. You just have to pass it. But when it comes to, if we are talking about money, how much you have for this particular act of becoming a pilot, that would drive the decision. If I were to make, so I was working before, so if I were to make decision, I would still make the decision of becoming a cadet pilot. That is my bias because I did choose that path. Considering the wherewithal that I had when I started my pilot career, I would choose, and also the age. So the variables that would play a role into this decision making would be, one is how much money you have. Second would be how much time do you have. Okay, if someone is 32, 33 years old, that person should only and only consider cadet pilot program and not conventional pathway, because that gives the person a kind of perceived certainty, at least, that I will get a job after doing this. And if someone is 18, 19 years old, that person has like 12 years to get a job. And 12 years is more than sufficient period of time to be able to apply some, like, if prepared well, then pass. If not, then fail, again apply, and then pass in the next attempt. That gives enough buffer. Average buffer that we consider, we have many times discussed, is 2 to 3 years. But even if not, 8 to 10 years is a long period of time for anyone to get a job. So those would be the variables. I started late, so I started at like 28, 29, and 28, I think. Yeah, 28. And then, considering the wherewithal and everything. And back in the time, the cadet pilot age limit was 30 years old.
Yes.
So I did that. And even if today I had to make a decision considering my age and where do we stand financially, I would go for cadet pilot program. How about you?
For me, what happened is just after my engineering, I was not sure whether I should continue in that field because I wasn't enjoying that much. And then I did the GI course, which is related to gemology. And after that, I had a thing that I want to go for pilot training, but I didn't tell my dad anything about it. And when I was just researching how to become a pilot, I got to know about the Cadet Pilot Program. So that's when I applied for it. And then I informed my parents that I would like to go for pilot training, and this is what I have done. So my dad was under the impression that once you become pilot, like everyone has this notion that there are many jobless pilots in India, and no one is getting a job once you get a CPL. So my parents' main concern was that. So he was okay for me being a pilot, but he was like, if I am investing such a huge amount and if you are not able to get job, or if there are no jobs available, might as well invest that money in something else where I would get the benefits out of it, rather than just sitting at home once you get a CPL. So at that time, I was researching about the programs, and I got to know about the Cadet Pilot Program, that they give you a job assurance. So that's what I told my dad, that this is the program. And my dad was okay with it. And he was like, okay, if you clear the interview and you get selected, then he will think about it, because he was investing such a huge amount. So he just wanted to make sure that this is not a scam.
Yeah.
Because now if you see under the name of Cadet Pilot Program, there are many flight schools who will tell you, okay, it's a Cadet Pilot Program. At the end of the flight training, you will get a job, which is a false claim. So during admission process, if a flight school says we have a Cadet Pilot Program and at the end of the training you will get a job, that's false. So what they generally do is they give you some kind of assistance or give you some materials to study for the airline preparation. That's it. There's no tie-up with an airline. So if there is any tie-up with the airline, you will have that particular flight school's name mentioned on the airline's website. That's how you check the authenticity. So I explained my dad everything about the program, and then we met a couple of pilots who also are told that, okay, this is a legit program and you can go ahead with that. Right. And luckily, then while I was doing this GI course, I started preparing for the program. Right. And then, everything happened and I cleared the interview process, and then we went to Delhi to sign the LOI. And at that time also my parents asked the HR a lot of questions. Just want to make sure that everything is legit, because during that time, I'm talking about 2018.
Correct.
Still the Cadet Pilot Program was a new concept.
Correct.
and after that, then we went to US, and then we started making videos, and then the awareness spread about the CPP. So now everyone knows that Cadet Pilot Program and the conventional pilot programs are the two pathways to become a pilot.
Absolutely.
So this was my journey. And if you speak back in 2018, how did I decide that I want to go for the Cadet Pilot Program? First is, medically, before even going for the Cadet Pilot Program interview, I did my class 2. So I was sure that medically I'm fit, and then I asked Dad how much is willing to spend for the pilot training. So finances part was also done, like with respect to whatever arrangements are to be made by him. So
2 M's.
Yeah, 2 M's. So that's what made me decide that I should go for this program. And then after that, it's all upon me. How hard do I study to clear the interview? That's all upon me. But the resources to go for the Cadet Pilot Program was there. So I went ahead with that option.
Right. Absolutely. Now, today we do not have Capt.Neha to defend conventional pathway. Both are cadets, so it's a little bit biased of a discussion. I get it. At the same time, Cadet Pilot Program versus conventional. Now, when we speak about conventional pathway is said to be cheaper. At the same time, if someone is going to the US for flight training, joining a good flight school, it almost costs pretty much the same as Cadet Pilot Program in India.
Yes.
Right? Okay, Cadet Pilot Program in the US, that would be a lot more than what it is in India. But US conventional pathway and US Indian Cadet Pilot pathway, if those prices are compared, it's almost the same.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes even the conventional pathway would cost more than the Cadet Pilot Program in India. That's what it is. But the Indian FTOs are pretty competitive with respect to, all FTOs are competitive with respect to Cadet Pilot selection rounds. Absolutely. When you mentioned the other day as we were discussing, there was a thought that struck, and we had a way of putting this forward differently, like jobless pilots and conventional pathway and jobless pilots. So as you just mentioned that there are jobless pilots, right? So we were just calculating, we were discussing that how many ATPL holders are there roughly?
I think latest around 15,000.
15,000. How do you know that how many ATPLs are there is the number of the ATPL. So like mine and Jintan's CPL number is into 20,000. Okay. Now 15,000 is the latest ATPL holders number going on. Latest CPL holder numbers probably would be 23,000. Now that means, and every CPL holder, every ATPL holder, when he gets ATPL, their CPL is nullified. Essentially the ATPL is applicable. Now those 15,000 are, okay, bear with us, okay? The little bit of simple math here. So 23,000 CPLs issued since the beginning, since the CPL number 1, the Tatas had it, right? From that 23,000 until now in whole India, out of which 15,000 have converted their CPL. Basically, they have passed the exams, they have done everything. 15,000 are ATPLs. So remaining CPL are 8,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do we agree on the part that there is no ATPL holder that is jobless?
Yes.
ATPL holders cannot be jobless.
Yes, because once you get a certain number of hours and you meet the requirements while flying an aircraft, at that time your CPL gets converted into ATPL.
Yeah. So we are coming to the part of how many.
So around 15,000 ATPL holders will be
employed pilots. Employed pilots. Right? Now that is certain. So we have roughly about 8,000 pilots remaining.
Yeah.
Now, not every airline first officer is an ATPL holder.
Yes, like
Correct.
us.
You like us. Yeah. We are not ATPL holders yet, right? We are CPL holders. So, considering 3 airlines primarily that are there, the largest airline having around 2,000 to 2,500 CPL holders
Yeah.
as FOs, 2,000, roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
Then the
Other
national
airlines combined.
ex-national flag carrier, that would be another 1,500 to 2,000.
Yeah, around
Roughly about? Yeah.
around 1 to 1.5
1,500. Okay. So we are at what? 2.5 plus 1.5, 3.5, 3,500 roughly. And the other airlines, right?
So roughly around 4,000.
4,000. Now there are instructors. There would be roughly about how many instructors in India?
Maybe 200.
200,
Yeah,
300.
300.
So roughly about 4,500, 4,300, 4,500 CPL holders are employed CPL holders, or working with airline, or working as an instructor, or working as something. Okay. And we had how many remaining? 7 to 8,000. 8,000.
So now we have around 3,500.
3,500.
Yeah.
So 3,500 is the number that we were enlightened with. Okay, that is the number of CPL holders that are waiting for the job right now. Does that make sense?
Yes. And
so that
out of that 3,500, maybe someone have left aviation, or maybe someone have gone into the family business.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you go for, let's talk about the conventional program now. So when anyone chooses the conventional pathway, so once they get their CPL, there is a buffer period of 2 to 3 years. So how this timeline works is, let's say when you submit your application for the commercial pilot license, and at that time the vacancy comes out, you are the luckiest person, I would say, because your buffer period will be close to 0 if you clear that interview. Now, if a vacancy comes and after that you complete your CPL, there won't be a vacancy for another 3 to 6 months. So you have to mandatorily wait for the next vacancy. The minimum time is 3 to 6 months. Maximum times can be around 2 years. So that's why we again say that buffer time is 2 to 3 years. Now, in that 1 to 2 years, if someone, let's say, have a business and they go into that business, okay, and then they are doing good, so they will be like, okay, now 2 years I've spent in business, let's continue it, and they leave aviation completely. Okay. And there are people like that. More or with a job as well, if someone changes their field after aviation because they don't want to wait.
True.
So they are also left out. And then there are people who become pilot just for the hobby. Okay. There are many.
Absolutely.
Okay. And now also we get inquiries. Okay, I just want to become a pilot just to fly the aircraft. That's it. I don't want to do a job.
And nothing wrong with it.
It's like a hobby or let's say a dream, but they don't want to work because of age and all of those things. So we can keep around 100 to 200 in that category.
Right.
Okay. So we are looking at around 3,500 is the number.
3,000 to 3,500. Yeah. And some of them would have already received LOIs from the airlines in the process of getting selected in the airline. Some have left the aviation. That's what the number is. 3,000 roughly. Now, if you choose to do the conventional pathway, yes, that is the kind of competition that there is for the airline selection. Okay. Now, the most prepared candidate gets selected. That's just how it is. That's just how it is.
So, for the conventional pilot program, if you look at the pros, it would be the cost.
Yeah.
Okay. So you save easily around 25 to 30 lakh rupees if you compare it with the Cadet Pilot Program. And we either pay by time or money. Okay. So if you spend 25 to 30 lakhs extra in the Cadet Pilot Program, once you complete your training, around 6 months to 1 year, you get into the airline.
Right.
But let's say if you want to save that 25 to 30 lakh rupees and do your training conventionally, the buffer period may vary from around 1 to 3 years after you get your CPL. So that's the time and money equation.
Right.
And it's nowadays the things are not as difficult as it used to be back in the 2008 and 2010. So earlier, let's say back in 2010, there used to be no vacancy at all for the airlines. So even if you are really prepared, you have a CPL and you are the best, there's no vacancy available. So the chances of getting a job were very less. But now, as you see, that the vacancies are coming out, and it's not like it's coming out every 3 to 4 years. It's coming out every year. So if you are well prepared, if you have put in your 100% and you are eligible to become an airline pilot and you clear the interview, you get into the airline. If you are doing your training from the conventional pathway and saving around 25 to 30 lakh rupees.
Yeah, even more if someone wants to save, then they can just start the journey considering that I'm going to become an instructor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this in order to become a flight instructor. You do the flight instruction, you like it, continue with it. If not, then just build the ATPL and then transition to airline. That makes sense. That is the cheapest way to become a pilot right now. Become an instructor. That is the cheapest way to eventually get to an airline. That would cost just the CPL cost. No type rating, no nothing. CPL plus the patter flying for the instruction rating. So that is how things work in the Western countries. In the Western countries, after doing CPL, you've got to get your instructor rating, and after instructor rating, you build your 1500 hours, and then you join a commuter airline or regional airline. And once you join the regional, then you build another 2,000-3,000 hours. Then you go on to the aircraft like 320 or something like that. So, to be honest, first 10 years of pilot career is when you start, is a lot. It may not pay as well, it may not, but after those 10 years, then things for sure like.
Yes, initially the learning curve is exponential. Like you have to study so much every day.
Yeah.
And once you think that you have it all now, the next day you get to learn something new. And then you are like, okay, let's do this. So it's like that.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's humbling. The moment you start to feel like, okay, now I think I know things well. Yeah. Circumstances will make people realize that it may not be everything.
And alongside what you mentioned about the 2 M's, the medicals and money required to become a Cadet Pilot Program, there is one more thing, which is the eligibility for the Cadet Pilot Program.
Correct.
So here, what's different is your maths, physics and English score have to be above 51% in each of the subjects. Then only you can apply for the Cadet Pilot Program. And one more thing I would like to point out is about the selection process.
Yeah.
So what generally people think that once you apply for the Cadet Pilot Program, you get into the program. But it's nothing like that. You have to prepare similar to how you prepare for an airline interview. So there'll be exactly the same rounds as an airline interview, but it will be with respect to your level as an aspiring pilot.
Absolutely.
And that process is difficult, I would say. Not many people clear the Cadet Pilot Program. Even if you have the 2 M's and you're not able to clear the Cadet Pilot interview, you will be given a cooling period of around 3 to 6 months and then you apply again. So it is not easy to clear.
No.
And it is not difficult to clear if you prepare well.
Yeah. So I just oversimplified it by saying that two M's. Okay, it was oversimplification. It was not anything technical, to be honest. It was just oversimplification, because there are so many things, like Chintan said, so many intricacies, so many details that a person going for the cadet pilot selection has to get right. All right. Like, if we want to add a third M to it, that would be the right mindset. Okay. Now, this is just kidding, but if you are to decide between two, that is cadet and conventional, medical, again, medical, you have to have medical for conventional as well.
Yeah.
Cadet, the money is the only difference. Essentially, if we knock it down to one single difference between cadet and conventional, that would be money, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, what is the selection process? Now, when we speak with some of the candidates, some of the students, some of the aspiring pilots, what we realize is sometimes, while there is everything, but the aspiring pilot doesn't want to go cadet pilot program because that aspiring pilot is scared of the selection process. Now the point is, no matter what, that selection process is something the person has to get through at some point of career. Even if someone goes through the CPL pathway, there will be a point when that person will have to give the ADAPT or PILAPT or COMPASS, whichever the test that is being conducted, will have to give the psychometry test, will have to go through the group discussion or group activity, or whatever that it may be called as the brainstorming activity, whatever that it may be. And then you have the personal interview, that is technical, non-technical, all of these things. Without doing these things, it's not possible to get into an airline.
Yes.
Correct. So if that is scary for someone, then that person probably needs to understand how to overcome that fear of selection.
Yes, it's rather than fear of selection, it's fear of examination.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we started our flight training, we had this stage checks every 2 weeks, I would say. After we do like around 10 to 14 flights, we have a check that whether we are able to learn whatever is taught without the help of the instructor, which is called as a stage check. So we have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
Right.
Okay. And that point of time, even I have felt that, okay, if I get one more day, I'll be more proficient, I'll study well. So that is something which is fear of examination. And I think Elon Musk have said this quote that if you give 3 months to clean your house, it will take 3 months. But if you give 1 week to clean your house, you will clean your house within 1 week, right? It also relates to Parkinson's law.
Yeah, absolutely.
So initially, I would, at some point of time, everyone would have fear of examination. Starting in the school as well, we feel that, okay, one more day and we would study everything. But even if, what I have realized is, even if we give one more day, we'll be at the same level.
Exactly.
So with time, we overcome this fear of examination, and how we do it by going through the examination process again and again.
Yeah.
So right now, if we speak, everyone says, okay, tomorrow we have an exam. We are like, okay, what's big deal in that? Because we are giving exams, I don't know, like so frequently, there is one or the other exams.
True.
And studying has become a habit now. So what do you think, like, why do people have this fear of examination?
Okay.
And how do, like, let's say at the initial stage, how can they overcome it?
Okay, the fear is there when we do anything new. Anything new that we do not know how to do, or we haven't done it in the past. There is no evidence backing us, right? Our first landing on a new aircraft, okay? Or our first landing in a completely new condition of the aircraft, okay? All of these things, we haven't done it. We have read it. Okay. So we have the procedural knowledge of doing it. So that is where the fear comes from. When it comes to specifically exams, most of the persons that are giving this exam or assessment or the selection round most of the aspiring pilots have not given any interview in the past, have not given any psychometry test in the past, have not given any selection rounds in the past. So the fear comes from the newness of it. That is for a prepared person. Second reason for fear can be level of preparation. So there is a perceived expectation out of ourselves that we have certain expectation from us. Okay. That I need to have prepared this. Okay. And I need to know this in detail. Now, and I have done this. Now, if those both are good, are the same, there is a level of confidence. But that level of confidence is not backed by experience. That preparedness is theoretical preparedness. Now, on the basis of theoretical preparedness, we go in there for these rounds when it comes to cadet pilot selection. That is what it is. That is just what it is. And if we think that there is a lack of preparedness, now that is for sure a recipe for fear. So what can we do to overcome that fear? Everybody who has done these tests have gone through the same exact process in the past and they made it. So you can too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, there are hundreds of cadet pilots that have done this in the past. They were no different than you are. They prepared, so you did. And you just have to take that leap of faith, because some or the other day, everybody does it for the first time.
Yes, and if they can do it, you can do it too. And this is nothing to scare you. It's just the process which we are discussing.
Yeah.
And what I think is the fear of newness is good rather than fear which comes from lack of preparedness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, and another point is confidence. That fear is also necessary, right? Like, maybe not fear, but a certain level of, you can call it like nervousness, you can call it excitement, you can call it whatever that you may want to name it as. Naming doesn't matter. But a confidence without competence is just stupidity.
It's like fake it till you make it.
And it doesn't work in aviation.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot fake it till you make it. No, it's not possible.
It's possible just in the movies.
Yeah. But that said, if that fear is disabling you or disabling someone, then you can tell yourself that I have prepared. I have done what it requires. And I can do this. And despite of the nervousness, one can choose to smile. And with that smile, you can win. That's how I'd take it. What we do on this podcast essentially is what we needed to hear when we were clearing our DGCA exams, what we needed to hear when we were doing our flight training, when we were doing our private pilot training, when we were doing our instrument commercial. Then when we did our simulator training, when we did our ground training, then when we did our SLFs. We wanted a voice in each of those moments that would guide us. Either sometimes that was an external voice or that was an internal voice. A guiding voice that what should we do? in those moments. Even now, as first officer, release first officer, you're in 1,000 hours, I'm about 800 hours. What we do in these moments is essentially sometimes calm us down and sometimes excite ourselves that, okay, you can do this. You've done this in the past. You have overcome this. You have overcome that. And what we do on this podcast is essentially each one of you who's at each one of those stages, we try to be that voice and tell you that it's okay. You can do this. You can take that next step. You can pass that check, right? You can pass those DGCA exams. You can pass that SLF base check, whatever that you are into. You can finish through that sim session. Okay. So our effort here every time is to be able to be that voice when you need it. That's what it is. That's what we do here. That's why we do this podcast. And sometimes, see, we are in a different phase right now of our pilot career, and we have been through each of those phases. And when we are talking about any of this phase, now we are talking about the cadet pilot selection phase, we are thinking of our memory, that what we were feeling in those moments. What were our thoughts in those moments, and what was our own voice that tried to guide us through that process. So if you are fearful, or if you are anxious or you're nervous in that stage, have faith that it's human to be able to pass those tests.
Yeah.
It just requires the level of preparation that it does. That's all that is.
So it's basically practicing.
Yeah.
So let's say now if we speak about the stages of the Cadet Pilot Program, initially when you apply for the Cadet Pilot Program, you will get an email for a maths or physics test, followed by a psychometric test. And then once you clear those things, when you go to the selection round in person, you'll have to give those tests again there, followed by the adapt, then you'll have your GD, and you'll have your PI. So this is the whole process for you to go for the Cadet Pilot Program, and some variables for the airline process as well, but it's similar to this.
Yeah.
So how do you excel at each of these steps? So it will come with preparation. Okay, now let's say maths, physics, English. If you open your 10th and 12th books, solve a couple of questions every day, you will excel at it. And you don't have to study everything again because you already have studied, so you just have to revise. For English, if let's say if you're staying in a city where people don't speak English, there have been instances in the past, like people, they know English, but when they speak, it takes them some time to articulate those words.
Yeah.
So for that, let's say if you give yourself 2 to 3 months, you speak in front of mirror for at least, let's say 30 to 45 minutes a day, 2 times a day. And then you find someone online. So there are a lot of apps where you can practice your English. So you have those means, you improve your English. And basically fluency. So whenever you are joining aviation requires English, because English is the language of aviation, and you need to know just the basic English.
Right.
You don't need to know high vocab English, just basic English.
Right.
And then you excel at that stage, English, physics, and math stage. And then when you go for your psychometric exam, so there's no preparation needed for it.
Yeah.
It's basically they want to know as a person who you are, whether you are a fit for pilot as a career or no.
Yeah.
So there are no right or wrong answers for that. They just want to know your personality, and based on that, they'll evaluate whether it will be a good fit for you or no. And then,
essentially, it is eliminating the hazardous attitudes in aviation. So there are certain hazardous attitudes that are counter to becoming a pilot, that are opposite of a good pilot's attitude towards life, towards things that we do, and all these psychometry tests are making sure that those hazardous attitudes are not there in the pilot that is applying for the pilot job.
Yes, and after that you go for your adapt exam. So in adapt exam, the most important thing is to read the instructions carefully. So generally, we have a habit, like I personally have an habit to click on agree and start. So whenever we download any app or register for anything, it's like agree to all terms and condition and start. We never read it. Okay, but when you go for adapt, make sure you read all the instructions carefully, because if you don't understand the instructions, you won't be able to clear the adapt if there is any misunderstanding. Okay, now when we speak about the adapt, so it basically test your hand-eye coordination and your multitasking, how well you can handle all of those things. And there's no preparation required for it, because hand-eye coordination is something which is inbuilt, and it can be developed to some extent, but most is inbuilt.
All right.
So let's say like you play any video games or stuff, you're good at playing video games, that is a good hand coordination.
Yeah.
If you're playing PS5 and
Yeah.
you can play with those buttons, that's a good hand-eye coordination. But that doesn't mean you have to play it every day.
Even someone who is into any kind of sport,
yeah.
that person would have good hand to eye coordination and would have easier time, not only with respect to the hand to eye coordination tests and batteries in that case, but also with respect to learning flying. That is just how it is. Hand to eye coordination is essential part of becoming a pilot, and it does help playing moderate, like playing video games for more moderate amount of time. And if that video game could be a flight simulator, there is nothing like it, to be honest.
Yeah, flight simulator, I've seen like many people now, once they are in their 10th, 11th, and who are very passionate, they start playing the Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is very good.
All right.
Just make sure you learn everything correctly.
Yeah. And also, see, we live in a country which is competitive. We have a lot of people in our country, which is a good thing, right? But that has set a structure of competition in everything. You want to get admission in engineering, there will be a competition in getting the seats. You want to get admission in medical, there would be a competition in that. You want to get to an airline as a job, there would be a competition in that. So if someone is certain about becoming a pilot since the beginning, say 8th, 9th grade or something, and that person knows that person wants to become a pilot, that person can start to shape their life accordingly, right? We get so many aspiring pilots messaging us that I practice VATSIM, I practice simulator, would that be helpful? Yeah, for sure it would be helpful. Why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why not? And when we said that playing video games helps, it's not that you play GTA 5, GTA 6, GTA 6 has not come, right? Yeah. Yeah, GTA 5 and drive recklessly, that's gonna improve hand-to-eye coordination. No, it's not. It's not gonna. If you play specific games that require hand-to-eye coordination, such as certain racing games, certain flight simulator games, certain specific games that require a finesse with your operating of controls, that would give a good hand-to-eye coordination. If someone is playing a strategy game, that's good, but then maybe that person should become a lawyer rather than becoming a pilot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Yeah, that's about the adapt. So
yeah, adapt has multiple parts into it. Hand-to-eye coordination is there, multitasking is there. Multitasking Now, nobody is expected to practice this, but many people practice this. So if you want to, you can look up. There are online tools for it, and you can practice through those.
Yes, and once you clear the adapt, you will have group discussion. So which is basically a teamwork. If you perform well in a team, you show some leadership qualities, communication,
Yeah.
logical thinking, analytical thinking. It is pretty much straightforward to clear the group discussion, but you should have your valid points put forward. Let's say if you have something to share, feel free to share, avoid any conflicts, and understand the topic which is given to you. And you'll also be given some time, let's say 15 minutes or 20 minutes, within which you have to reach the conclusion collectively as a team.
Yeah.
That is the main objective of a group discussion.
A group discussion or group activity is a group task. It's not that one person wins. Anyone who walks into that room to go for that group discussion should have one aim in the mind, that I'm here to contribute to the group and I want our whole group to win. Not I want to win, the whole group to win. And if we think of it like that, then that is a fruitful group discussion.
Yeah.
Now there are people that orchestrate it, but that is not how it is supposed to be. That's all there is.
Yeah, I would say there's no competition in a group discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to walk as a team.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that, let's say, if you are someone who's contributing a lot and who knows everything and is speaking for most of the time, so that is not a group activity. It's a personal thing, like you can say it a debate or something. So that is not how a group discussion should be. So let's say if anyone is not speaking in a group discussion, as a leader or leadership quality, a person can be polled out. Okay, yeah, this guy is not contributing, so let him speak.
Right.
So that is a leadership quality involving everyone in the group discussion. So yeah, that's about the group discussion.
Makes sense. Now, personal interview, when we get to personal interview, there is essentially, it's a demonstration of showing everything that you have written in your CV about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, plus the technical round. So if you have cleared your DGCA exams, it helps. It definitely helps. If you have not, then essentially the technical part in cadet pilot selection is that, do you have at least enough knowledge that conveys your curiosity towards the field? Like, there can be any questions like, how does an airplane fly? How do jet engines work? What is the purpose of horizontal stabilizer? Why aircraft have a vertical stabilizer? What are flaps? All of these things. Those are the kind of questions, are the basic kind of questions that anyone who wants to become a pilot should know.
Yeah, so those questions are asked because it's not like, okay, you're coming here for interview and if you clear, then you'll become a pilot.
Yeah.
They want to know whether you are really interested to become a pilot or no. Because if you're not interested, then it may not be the right fit. So you won't be enjoying your life as a pilot if you don't enjoy flying an aircraft.
Now just imagine someone who's excited about them becoming a pilot since the grade 8th and has been preparing in order to become a pilot since grade 8th, doing the VAT sim, doing the flight simulator 2024-25, whichever that there is, knows about the airplanes and is spending every day 1 to 2 hours playing the flight simulator starting from their childhood. And then there is someone who just finished 12th and now decided to become a pilot. Okay. Because probably seems like a fancy thing to do and knows nothing about aviation. Now when this person who started playing flight simulator since class 5th, class 6th, class 8th, sits in that interview panel. And right after that, someone who has just decided a month ago, has not cleared any DGCA exams, has not done anything with respect to aviation, does not know what are jet engines, how do they work in the basic, simple explanation form. Who is more eligible candidate in order to get that cadetship? You will have the answer.
Yeah.
Right? It's as simple as that. So, yeah.
And it doesn't mean, so there are people who decide to become pilot at a later age due to whatever circumstances they will be on. So at that point also, the person, let's say at the age of 28, like you decided, so you must be knowing the basics about aviation, because at some point of time you were that, okay, at some point of time, whenever feasible, I would like to switch my career path.
Yeah, I had my DGCA exams cleared, class 2, class 1, everything was done. I was gonna go conventional pathway, but then in the week that I was gonna go for conventional pathway, I got a mail for the cadet pilot selection process. So I was like, okay, I'll give this selection process, and I did go for that. And the scores in the DGCA exams were good. Everything was there, and essentially in our times there used to be 2 interviews. There used to be
for
one.
I guess for your batch it was 2. From mine it was 1.
Okay. So we had an interview from L3, and we had then after passing that, then we had interview with the company.
Okay, so I thought you were talking about 2 interviews with the company. So I had one with the school and one with the company.
Exactly, one with the school and one with the company. Yeah. Not 2 with the company. Yeah. And 1 GD with the school and 1 GD with
I had just 1 GD with the company.
Okay. So 2 GDs. 2 GDs and 2 PIs. One with the school and one with the company. Even Ragul, Rithik, they have done the same process. Regardless. So you wanna make yourself more competent for your stage. That's all that matters in that.
Yeah, so PI basically, what I generally see it as when I went for my personal interview.
Alright.
Okay, the first 5 minutes, as anyone would be a bit nervous.
Yeah.
So once you go in, they make you comfortable. But after that 5 minutes, I was relaxed and I answered whatever they asked for.
Alright.
So yeah,
absolutely,
it was a good experience. So what I felt was, it was a pretty much a friendly conversation.
Yeah.
There would be some questions, some technical questions that would be asked, some questions. So in my CV, I have mentioned that I was a civil engineer and I've done certain things outside that field. So most questions were on that, and then regarding the team and stuff. So in the CV, basically make your CV in a single page so that it is very easy for the interviewer to read it.
Absolutely.
And know everything which is mentioned in your CV along with the years, because it should not happen that you don't remember what year you have passed your college, your engineering.
Correct.
And the timeline doesn't match. So that would be straight up a rejection. And after that, pretty much basic a conversation related to aviation, what are the things I know, and basically what they were checking is whether I'm really interested to become a pilot or not.
Right. The interest has to be conveyed.
Yeah.
It is a must that interest has to be conveyed. No airline wants to hire someone that didn't have any other opportunity in career, and that's why they decided to become a pilot, right? So at least that interest has to be conveyed. And that said, when it comes to CPL holder vacancies, this process is still the same, exactly the same. There is no difference in this process. In addition to this, there are technical questions and questions about the flying that anybody would have done.
Yes, just the main difference would be there will be a technical paper, a written paper, which you have to clear based upon, let's say, if you have done your CPL, the exam will be based on the DGCA
Correct.
syllabus, the DGCA exams.
Correct.
If you have done your type rating, the exam will be CPL plus your type rating syllabus.
Type specific.
Yeah, type specific, whatever type rating you have done. Let's say A320 or 737. So
Right.
the way the questions will be that, and then your group discussion remains almost the same. Your adapt remains the same.
Yeah.
The personal interview will be in the personal interview, the technical round will be much in detail.
Yeah, technical round for sure. There is a ground instructor that will be on the panel for selection, be it whichever airline that there is, and they'll be asking the questions about technical stuff. That is either the CPL technical or the type rated technical, depending upon your vacancy that there is.
Yes.
That's about
That's
it. Once you
about-
do
yeah.
all of that, and then you're part of the airline, and we'd love to congratulate you.
Yeah. And then starts the airline training. So training never stops.
Yeah, training never stops. It's every flight there is something new to learn.
Yeah.
Each and every flight. Thank you for watching and
Yeah.
subscribing. This episode is brought to you by CNTAA, the Pilot Ground School. If you are an aspiring pilot, sign up for CNTAAonline.in. If you are looking to join the ground training in person, which is classroom training in Mumbai, contact 9930300426. We thank you for your attention.
Yes. Thank you for watching this podcast. We are in the 77th episodes, and soon we'll be inching towards the 100th episode. And thank you for the support, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have done this, like at least I've done this episode half sleepy, to be honest. I hope that was not very evident. I don't know why I was sleepy, probably because the whole sleep debt that we have, like at least I have accumulated in last 1 week. In last 1 week itself, I've flown for, okay, let me think how many hours I've flown in last 1 week. I'd have flown probably 20, 25, 30 hours in last 1 week.
Oh, that's a lot. So probably you're flying 6 days in this week.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Today is the 7th day. Today 120 was my 7th day.
Nice. Time to catch up on the rest.
I had Red Bulls now. I don't know how I'll be able to sleep. Anyways, guys,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for watching.
See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.